Have you been wanting to become a citizen? Have you been experiencing delays in your immigration process? Do you dream of having a work permit and being able to vote and do all the other things that citizens can do? I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that process today.
Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Vamos a hablar un poco sobre ser ciudadano y cómo se puede hacer usted ciudadano. ¿Ha estado soñando con ser ciudadano, tener su permiso de trabajo, poder votar, poder viajar? Pues de eso es lo que le vamos a hablar hoy.
Okay, so I'm telling you this because I got a little inspired from a court case that I had yesterday with the sweetest man. He was a client of ours who had struggled for over a year just to change his documentation after he became a citizenship and after he became a citizen.
So, esta conversación es inspirada por uno de nuestros clientes que tuvimos corte ayer con él. Y después de estar un año tratando de cambiar sus documentos y sus papeles, después de que sea ciudadano, por fin lo logró ayer.
And it got me thinking because one of the things that we offer in our office is not just actually helping you to get the immigration documents, but then being able to resettle into this country. Because as the daughter of immigrants, I am fully aware of how difficult it is for you to suddenly navigate your new legal status. To be able to change things, your driver's license, for example, simple things, applications for work, passports, all of those little things, marriage certificates if you need to, birth certificates for your children, all of these things need to be kind of accounted for. You need to organize them, you need to keep them in track. And yesterday's conversation with this sweet client that we had made me start to think that, it's so difficult, not just for anyone, but especially for our elderly clients, because they just don't know where to go.
So, esta conversación de verdad es muy importante. La abogada viene de padres inmigrantes y ella entiende lo difícil que es navegar este proceso después de que sean ciudadanos, de poder arreglar estos documentos. Y ella entiende que especialmente para nuestras personas mayores, que es muy difícil hacer los cambios de nombre en su licencia, hacer el cambio de licencia, hacer el cambio para cualquier acta de matrimonio, cualquier cosa. Y de verdad, nosotros estamos aquí para ayudarles.
So one of the things that we do in our office is that we provide this as an additional service. So not only will we help you to get your documents, but we will actually walk you through this entire process so it's not quite so overwhelming. Like I talked about with this client of mine, he spent over a year trying to do something, that should have been a very simple process. And he ended up having to go to court, and then he actually needed my help to get it taken care of. And as I was talking to him, he was kind of talking a little bit about his struggles. First, to become a citizen, which in itself is a huge struggle, but then afterwards to get all of his documentation and everything in place.
So, esta conversación viene de que hablando con nuestro cliente, él nos contó qué tan difícil fue cambiar el nombre en este documento, un proceso que debe de ser muy fácil, que después de un año él se comunicó con nosotros y nosotros le pudimos ayudar a cambiar el nombre yendo a la corte con él. De verdad es algo increíble. Él nos contó de lo que él pasó para hacerse ciudadano y todo el trabajo que ha tenido que poner para hacer estos cambios.
So as we were passing the courthouse, and I actually posted a couple of pictures on our Facebook page, so go ahead and check those out. But there's a memorial specifically dedicated for veterans who have fought in all of the wars, all the way back to the Spanish-American War, that were local to our areas, to the area of DuPage County in Chicago. And I just stop. I go to this courthouse quite a bit, but I actually never have time to actually stop and revel in it. So I stood there for a while, and I kind of appreciated, and I read all the names, and really honored these veterans.
So, no sé si sepan, pero aquí en la corte de DuPage está un memorial para todos los veteranos y las personas que han perdido su vida peleando por el país, y esto viene de todas las guerras, desde la guerra española americana. Así que normalmente no hay tiempo de parar un momento y de verdad ver lo que está allí y los grandes logros que hemos logrado por esto. Pero ayer ella tuvo un momento de estar ahí un momento, leer los nombres y de verdad poner atención de lo maravilloso que es.
And the reason why it's so marvelous to me is because as I was reading those names, and there's hundreds and hundreds of names, it wasn't like the names were just Sam Smith and John Adams and, George this or that. There were all these so-called foreign names, right? So names from very obviously from immigrants who had actually fought in our wars. Now, this isn't some groundbreaking discovery that I made, but it serves as a really important reminder to all of us that we need to be very aware of who is representing our country and the fact that just being an American encompasses so many different types of people.
De verdad, cuando se pone a ver esos nombres, ve que no solamente son nombres que vienen siendo solamente americanos, vienen siendo nombres que tienen ruta de personas inmigrantes. Pueden ser latinas, pueden ser de otros países. Y de verdad no es algo que es sorprendente, es algo que muchos saben, pero de verdad verlo, que quiere decir lo grande que es ser americano, lo grande que es ser estadounidense, que quiere decir que eres más de una cosa.
And so as I was talking to my client yesterday too, and he said, I went through so much and I had to pay so much money and I had to go to court and I really had to fight so that I could get the citizenship and this card and do all of these things. But everything was worth it because I can't begin to tell you how much I love this country. And that's the message that I kind of want to give you today is that every single person that is here is grateful and happy and patriotic and loves this country, regardless of what their name might be.
So, de verdad, con la plática con nuestro cliente, él nos dijo de verdad que él tuvo que pelear, tuvo que gastar un buen de dinero para poder tener su ciudadanía, para poder tener el privilegio de estar aquí y que él no lo cambiaría por nada, porque él está orgulloso de ser estadounidense ahora. Y ese es el mensaje que les queremos dar, que de verdad estas personas que están aquí, que tienen su ciudadanía o su residencia, de verdad están orgullosos de ser estadounidenses ahora o estar en el proceso de lograr ser estadounidenses.
Okay, so let's get into the actual thing. How do you become a citizen? How can you become a lawful permanent resident? How do you get your green card? How do you get your work permit? How do we get you to the same point as my client yesterday?
So ahora vamos a empezar a hablar un poco de cómo llegamos al punto como nuestro cliente de ser ciudadano o residente.
Okay, so there's several different ways, and I'm not going to go through all of them in one video. You can see all of our past videos as well in Facebook, and I'll tell you about them. But generally speaking, for you to be able to get all of these benefits, you can do it through family. So, for example, through a parent, through a child who's 21 years and up, through a sibling, and you can also you can do it through a spouse. Now, the sibling one, the reason why I paused is because the sibling one is the longest process. Right now, those can take up to 20 years. So usually we try to find alternatives for you if we can.
So, de verdad, vamos a hablar un poco sobre cuáles son las maneras. Una es familiar. Puede ser que tus padres, puede ser que tu hijo que es mayor de 21 años te solicite, tu esposo o esposa o tu hermano. ¿Por qué tu hermano es una razón? Es que ellos te pueden pedir, pero se toma muchísimo tiempo. Ahorita se está tomando como 20 años.
So, I'm going to talk a little bit about how that works, right? So if you have a spouse, what we do is we will go through the intake process with you in a consultation with our office to make sure that you qualify. And there's some qualifying conditions in there. And then we will submit all of the forms that are required. Now, for a spousal one and for a parent one, for all of these, we also have to show income and finances. Sometimes that becomes a little bit of a hang up for some people because they're worried that they might not have enough. If that's the case, then what we can do is we can get what is called a joint sponsor, somebody who can also join in their finances into the mix and say that, yes, I guarantee that I will help to support this person and they will not become a burden on the government as a result.
So, hay que poner, por ejemplo, que va a ser un ajuste por su esposo o esposa. Lo que hacemos es que en su primera consulta con nuestra oficina le tomamos información sobre su esposo o esposa, sobre usted, y vemos si usted califica para hacer esto. Hay unas cosas que lo califican o no lo califican para esto. Después de eso le pedimos lo que viene siendo su información financiera. ¿Por qué? Porque su situación financiera declara a ver si usted va a ser o no va a ser un problema para el Estado que usted vaya a pedir algún beneficio. Si por alguna razón usted piensa que no tiene lo suficiente para esta petición, no se preocupe, nosotros le ayudamos a buscar a lo que viene siendo una persona que agrega su dinero con el de usted para que usted pueda calificar para esto.
So the reason why I mention this is because a lot of times we'll get people and they say, no, I can't apply for this because I don't have enough money. And usually when they start talking to me, I can actually find that money for them in some way or another. So don't let that be a reason for you not to apply. Once we are able to apply, we can get you a work permit, and then we can get you on the road to becoming that full-fledged citizen eventually. And in the meantime, getting a green card, having permission to travel outside of the country, and just being able to enjoy all of the benefits that others can enjoy as well.
So, hay muchas veces que nuestros clientes nos dicen, es que no tengo lo suficiente dinero, no puedo, ¿qué voy a hacer? Es que no voy a poder. Ya cuando nos ponemos a platicar, nosotros podemos encontrar una manera o alguna persona que le pueda ayudar. Después de esto, nosotros sometemos la aplicación para que usted pueda tener su permiso de trabajo, su tarjeta verde, pueda viajar y vaya en paso de ser ciudadano para poder tener todos estos beneficios.
Now, there are other options, and I've talked to them in other videos as well. There's a U visa, there's T visas, and then there's VAWA. One of the things that I like to talk about with VAWA is that it has a very clear way for you to go about and getting the same green card, this precious green card in your hand, even if you're in a marriage that is full of problems, or you have a very tense, very awful kind of a parent-child relationship that makes it difficult for you to have them petition for you.
So, vamos a hablar un poco sobre otras cosas. Puede ser la visa U, visa T, puede ser el VAWA, de verdad. Si han visto nuestros videos, el VAWA es algo que nuestra oficina habla mucho de esto. ¿Por qué? Porque es una manera de que usted tenga una orden directa de poder ajustar su estatus, de poder tener su tarjeta verde, su permiso de trabajo, sin importar que pueda hacer que su matrimonio tenga muchos problemas o que su relación con sus hijos tenga muchos problemas y ellos no quieran peticionar por usted.
So the other ways that I was talking to you about is kind of like best case scenarios, right? You don't really have, like, let's say that you don't have an illegal entry, or you came in on a visa and then it became expired, and then you got married to to somebody, or you have a child who's 21 years and up, and you didn't have those other issues. It looks like I lost Giselle for a minute, but those are the, there you are, you're back. Those are the best kind of, best case scenarios. But I like to work in the gray area.
So, de verdad, hay cosas que puedan calificarlo. Puede ser que usted entró con visa y se le expiró, que no tiene entradas ilegales y que después se casó con un ciudadano residente. Eso quiere decir que tiene una manera de ajustar directa, y es blanco y negro que puede ajustar. Nosotros, de verdad, hay veces que nos gusta trabajar en lo que viene siendo esa área que muchos abogados les dicen que no se puede. ¿Por qué? Porque nos gusta tener ideas creativas para ayudarle a solucionar su estatus.
And so one of the creative strategies we have is through VAWA, because if you have suffered in any particular way, and like I said, we've gone through this a little bit, but if it's financially or a controlling relationship that you have, or something in which you are just, fearful and not comfortable to be yourself, and you can't hang out with your friends and your family, or you have a lot of disrespect and name calling within your relationship, all of those could potentially qualify you for VAWA. And the great thing about that is that even if you have an illegal entry into this country, we can still adjust your papers.
So, una de las cosas creativas que hacemos es el VAWA. ¿Por qué? Porque esto quiere decir que no importa si tiene entradas ilegales, no importa si otros abogados le han dicho que no se puede. Nosotros con estos le podemos ayudar a ajustar su estatus. No importa si su relación es por no encontrar mejor palabra mala y que tiene problemas financieros con su pareja, puede ser que lo controlen o la controlen mucho, puede ser que la llamen por nombres que lo ofenden o lo ofenden. Cualquiera de esas cosas lo puede calificar.
The reason why you want to do all of this is so that you can stay legally within the United States. You can get a work permit, Social Security. You can support your family. You can get a better paying job. All of those benefits are available to you. You can apply for financing. You can go to university without having to worry. I mean, normally you can go there anyway, but a lot of times, a lot of opportunities are opened up once you have proper status.
So, ¿por qué queremos ayudar en esto? Porque después de esto usted puede tener su permiso de trabajo, puede viajar, puede ganar su propio dinero, puede tener seguro social, puede tener todos estos beneficios que tienen los ciudadanos y residentes. Puede ser que usted pueda tener una mejor vida por esto.
Okay, so I don't want to go on too much because I know that we have clients that are going to be waiting for us. So I wanted to jump on here for a couple of reasons. First, to tell you this uplifting story about how your life can change as you become a citizen, and that even if you think that it's very difficult and it's insurmountable, we are here so that we can help you specifically for that reason. So you do not have to worry that you have to do this all alone. We do everything for you in one go. We will make sure that everything is taken care of so that you're not left alone in the process.
So, porque tenemos clientes que nos están esperando, pero queríamos estar aquí para decirles, contarles de esta historia de nuestro cliente, para decirles que de verdad ustedes pueden, no dejen que lo que le ha contado su vecina o su amiga lo deteriore para que no venga o nos llame para ver si usted puede aplicar para alguno de estos beneficios.
Whether you have a legal entry or you have an illegal entry, or whether you have an order of deportation or you do not, there might be a way that we can still get you that precious green card. So give our office a call.
No importa si entró legal o ilegal, tenga orden de deportación o no lo tenga. De verdad, llame a la oficina a ver si hay alguna manera de que nosotros le podamos ayudar para que obtenga su residencia, esa tarjeta verde que tantas personas quieren.
We've helped so many people, and I absolutely love to help more. So I urge you to give our office a call. Filing fees are going up in October. October 2nd is what has been published as filing fees going up. So try to do it before then. You've got a couple of weeks. Let's get you in so that we can get you started and get you that green card, just like our client the other day.
De verdad, llame a la oficina lo antes posible porque los precios de estos van a subir el 2 de octubre. No, le hemos ayudado a tantas personas, queremos ayudarles a más. Nos encanta ver la emoción de estas personas cuando tienen ya su tarjeta verde. Llame a la oficina para ver en qué le podemos ayudar. Aquí estamos de lunes a viernes de 9 a 5. Llámenos para poderle ayudar.
Ok, llámenos hoy. Muchas gracias. Buena tarde.
Que tenga una linda tarde.
Adiós.
Hasta luego.